All right, we're just waiting for Brian to show up. I sent him the link. I don't know if Mars is around today or if he's got a cookout he's at or but anyways, everyone's got the link and I'm here and we may as well hit the go live button on the streams. Um we are certainly going to be revisiting The Sims again today just because I have such a odd scenario, which I already um, did a stream with. So we're probably just revisiting something we already visited. But this time we're going to visit it with Brian and see what ideas he comes up with. And not to mention, I discovered that there was a great outcome to this scenario. That although I was able to spare everyone's lives for another day, I was also able to invite Santa Claus to join our household, and that is so now I've actually continued to play for many more hours of gameplay past that last stream. And the gameplay is starting to actually get a little boring with this household. When you play a household to a point that you've raised kids through school, that's when it kind of gets to the point where you've built your skills that they're focused on. You've gotten kind of far in your career path. You got your kids through the school ages. It's starting to get a little boring. You've played through a few years. You played through the holidays, and I guess this is where people would start looking for other Sims 4 packs to buy to try to make things interesting. But I mean, this hasn't been bad for playing a household that I created without intending to actually play it as much as I have. But once again, if we share my Sims 4 screen here, you'll see that we are kind of looking outside here. And Chester, the problem with using a death flower to pay off death to send him away is that that doesn't change the fact if your sim died of old age, there's still an elderly sim that's in the range where death is going to show up for them sometime soon. And so if you and the longer they last, the more likely death's going to come. So it reached a point where I was giving death a death flower every hour, and it was very disruptive and to the household to have death show up and go through this whole "you're dead, I'll bring you back to life" every few hours. So I used Madeline's rewards points to buy a potion of youth to set her back to the beginning of her elderly stage, because I really wanted to finish her career path before she died, and I was going to need at least probably a week or so to do that. And she is now at a level 10 of her career stage. Actually, she's retired now. She got to an author that it creates worlds, or world creator, or whatever that top level is, and that means that we then it was unlocked to buy one of these fancy bookshelf doors. And for a while, this room was a spare room that had a computer in it that Madeline would use to write her books at sometimes, although sometimes she would use the common computer in the downstairs. But at some point, when I had Laurel pursuing a criminal career that involved hacking, I needed two computers in the house. So I built this room to be kind of a study computer room type of place, so that Madeline have a place she could write her books, Laurel has a place she could do her hacking, or vice versa. But then this became the baby toddler room. And then when Timmy aged up, he got his own room. And then the other two toddlers have aged up, so they've continued to share a room. So this is Craig and Ulysses' room, and this is Timmy's room. And so I created this little extra space at the corner of the house that was left over here. I turned it into a little kind of a small computer room hidden behind a bookcase, so Madeline has her own little secret computer room that she could, because Madeline doesn't like kids. Um, and that's how she was created, by the roll of the dice. Because remember, this household was created kind of by chance with a random roll of the dice for an elderly married couple of Chester and Madeline. Although I gave them both the last name Gators because I created it as a Gators household of some sort. But Chester and Madeline were totally random names with the dice roll. And the thought was is that there were an old couple that I could just demonstrate on the stream. Look at how if we make them keep having sex, they will get overexert themselves and they will die from exertion. And isn't that funny? And then my thought was is that since they were a married couple, that they could invite each other back to the house as ghosts. The problem was is that since they were newly created characters, even though they were married, they did not have a strong friendship built up. So it turned out to not be easy to invite Madeline back to the house as a ghost because she wasn't very close friends with Chester, even though she was married to him before she died. And before I could build their friendship up enough, Chester died of old age. And so then I had a house with 2 urns in it, and that's why Laurel was created. And Laurel pursued a criminal career path up until she died of laughter, at which point I switched her over to a culinary career path because I like maxing out some with the culinary pursuits. Because once you have the culinary pursuits that you max out, then any food you create doesn't go bad ever. So I don't have to worry about putting all this food that she's making in the fridge, which is good because she has to do a certain amount of prep food every day as part of prep for her career path as I try to max out her chef career. Still no Brian, though. So, criminal. Yes, Dune, you can pursue a criminal career in The Sims, and that has been something that's existed since the first Sims. Of course, how detailed those career paths go is evolved. I mean, The Sims 1, it was just you sign up for a career path and you go to your job happy. And maybe there were certain skill sets that had to be certain levels in order to get promoted. The most challenging thing in The Sims 1 to get promoted was the number of friends that were required, because as you get further in your career path, you need to have social contacts in order to evolve in your career. And so it starts requiring you to have a certain number of friends before you will be up for promotion. And in The Sims 1, it's hard to maintain friendships because if you don't call someone after a few days, they stop considering you a friend. And the days go by so fast, it's really hard to keep up with all your friends and maintain all your friendships while at the same time maintaining your household and your family. It gets to be like real life with less time to manage all the tasks that you got to do. There are many elements you can focus on, and a career path is one of them. Family life is another one. Home careers is a thing because, like Madeline here, she pursued an author career and she maxed out and retired at the top of her game, which unlocked the ability to unlock this secret bookshelf door to her little secret nook that we were able to build into the house. But Madeline's real income comes from the publishing rights to all the books that she's had to write as a part of her career. So you could just not even join a career path as an author and just start writing books, build up your writing skill, and publish them, and earn income that way. In The Sims 1, a popular way to make an income was to buy a workbench where you could build gnomes. Because that's the only object that was programmed to let you build, and then as your skill set in doing woodworking, I don't know what that skill set was called, it's handiness or something. As that built up, your gnomes that you built were more valuable, so you could just spend a certain number of hours every day making gnomes on your workbench and then sell them all at the end of the day. And so, I mean, there's different ways you can play the game. That's one of the great things about The Sims is that there's no one right way to play The Sims. There is one right way for a co-host to connect in and participate with the show, and that is by clicking the link that I sent. And so we're going to have to figure out where Brian is. Now, I did see a little notification on my Steam that Brian did launch Grand Theft Auto an hour before the show started, but we had no discussions of doing a Grand Theft Auto streaming show, or that we would be connecting sound that way. Now, Dune asks, how long did all this take? Well, what was it? A few weeks ago, I think I did the show where we talked about ghosts and whatever. That's when I first built this family, and this house is kind of pre-built, but I've changed the wallpapers and the floors and the paints and bought more things and added. Like, this house didn't have a second floor when I started it. It was pre-built as a kind of a basic one floor house. So I added this extension off the end here where the bar is. I bought better appliances, and then I bought the fireplace, a better TV, the stereo system, better furniture, and then I added the second floor, which started as just a pair of bedrooms here for Laurel and Chester and Madeline, or depending on who was in a relationship with who, would determine. But at this point, Madeline invited Santa to come live with them. Now Santa, unfortunately, there's an annoying habit here. We have the graveyard here, and we have 1, 2, 3 headstones for Chester, because Chester has died 3 times now. And Madeline and Laurel have both only died once. And Madeline has been brought back to life, and I've extended her life again, so she doesn't need to die again. And Laurel has not reached old age yet. She died of laughter, but then we were able to bring her back with using a book of life. But the problem is, one of the activities that headstones let you do is they let you mourn the person. But it is not possible to mourn Marilyn, and it's not possible to mourn Laurel because they're both alive. Now, Chester is a ghost. Chester lives in the house. Chester interacts with the people in the house. However, Chester is still technically dead. So that means that his headstone lets people mourn him, including Chester. And Chester and Santa have developed an annoying habit of coming over here and mourning Chester any chance they fucking get. And when it does, it makes them sad for the next few hours after doing that mournful act. So that's what I'm dealing with now. And I'm trying to get Santa to, it's like, dude, Santa, you're friends with Chester. He's living with you. In fact, it's really funny when you have Chester and Santa standing here side by side, both mourning Chester at the same time. So that's kind of just another weird thing. So since I got sick and tired of Santa mourning Chester all the time, I've decided I need to give him a new hobby. So I sent him off on a space mission in Madeline's spaceship, which is up in space right now. So he's going to finish that mission. He rescued something from a black hole, and now he's back home. So that's astronaut Santa right there, coming back from his space mission. And he's quite enthusiastic about that. So maybe he will leave Chester's gravestone the fuck alone. Chester is a master gardener, as he was in life. And I'm trying to build plant a new cow plant. Now, the first cow plant I planted, it was dumb luck. I don't know how he got the seed, but somehow he got the seed. But now he doesn't have a cow plant seed anymore. And so I did some research. It's not easy to get a cow plant seed, but you can splice plants to make a cow plant. So if you splice a strawberry with a snapdragon, you get a dragon fruit. And then if you splice a dragon fruit with something else, you get a cow plant. And then you can plant that. And so that's my next thing I'm trying to do with Chester. So that's the current household right now. And of course, Timmy is getting ready to age up to a young adult. He just got a job at a fast food restaurant and has been tinkering around a computer. He's quite fond of video games and programming. And I think he's kind of a computer whiz type of person. So he's looking to become an adult and get in the tech guru career once he graduates high school and ages up to young adult. Craig here is hungry. He's a rambunctious scamp, so that's what he's pursuing these days. They're all doing all right in school. Actually, Craig has gotten up to A student. Timmy has been an A student, but he got bumped back down to a B somehow. I don't know how that happened because he keeps doing his homework and extra credit. He'll probably go back up soon. And Ulysses here is a B student, but I'm sure that'll get bumped up to an A soon. They all do their homework. Let's see. Are any co-hosts showing up yet? No, they're not. Oh my God. Well, we are going to have to hunt down our co-hosts is what we're going to have to do. Now Mars might have a cookout, I believe, but Brian was supposed to be here. So let's figure out where he is. So we're just waiting for him to pick up his phone. Hope everything's all right over there. Maybe something went wrong at the last minute.
Hello.
Hey, what's up?
Chicago.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry, I was on the phone, so I kind of got stuck.
That kind of phone call.
Yeah. I had to kind of fill this person out with my sister-in-law's issues.
Still a lot going on in Southern California.
Yeah. Central.
Oh,
Coast.
Central California.
Yeah.
That's
Coast. Yes.
that's where they have the Taylor pork.
Much nicer than here.
No, that's Central Jersey. But yeah, okay, nicer than there. Nothing's nicer than the Bay Area.
We are at 109 right now.
Yeah, but that's why you have central air.
Yes, blasting until. Well, we're going to turn it back at 4 o'clock. Oh, wait a second. It's after 5. You're supposed to reduce the air conditioning between 4 and 9.
Yeah.
Because we don't know how to generate power anymore.
No, we will reduce the air conditioning by reducing the temperature that the house is at. That's the reduction that air conditioning does.
Get this. Some of the public pools are closing because it's too hot.
The pools are closing because it's too hot.
Yes. This is California for you.
Yeah. Now, I will say, when I was living at the apartment complex in Hayward, that complex had a pool. I never went in that pool once because it just was not appealing to me. And I looked at that pool, and basically now, mind you, the apartment complex I was at was probably the nicest apartment complex on our block.
Yeah.
There was a lot of more rundown.
You're talking about the one that was in
Hayward. Yeah. I mean, you picked me up there once, and you saw a lot of them kind of looked a bit run down, but ours was a bit nicer than the others around there. But still, generally speaking, most of these people are putting fans up in their windows. They're not running air conditioning in these apartments. So generally,
so the call I was just on was actually from a nicer part of Oakland, and they're only 95 degrees.
Well, that's right. You're always like at least 10 degrees warmer because you're over in the valley.
Exactly.
Whereas Oakland Hayward is more on the bay. So, and I will say it was always a nice. Whenever I had to drive across one of the bridges, you put down the windows, nice cool breeze coming through the car. It was always really nice, that cool breeze coming up off the water. But the point was that basically the pool was always packed, filled with most of the tenants of the apartments that are basically just standing around in the pool trying to cool down. And there was no room for swimming. It was just a bunch of people hanging around, standing in a bunch of water. Yeah. It was more like a shared bath with bathing suits. And that was not at all appealing to me. So I did not.
You go around and you say, "Oh, please don't pee in the pool."
I mean, when you're standing in a pool surrounded by at least 20 different people, and a lot of them are younger in age, the probability that you're standing in someone's pee increases. So I tend to, if I would do it, try to get ew.
Ew, yes.
Now, Dune also wants to know if this is the sister with the ex-boyfriend husband thing. No, it was someone else, I think.
Oh no, she is the sister of the one that we're helping.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyways, I sent you the link. So will you be jumping?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll jump in there.
All right then. All right. We'll see you shortly then. All right.
Yep. All right.
Bye. It was a phone call that got him hung up there, tied up in a phone call there, and he'll be jumping in shortly. Running a fan with no AC, barbaric. Hey, I got window units here, but I gotta tell you, it's most nights at least it cools down enough that the window, not even the window fans, the ceiling fans over my bed at night is enough. Generally, I try to only run the the one summer I had an air conditioner upstairs in addition to the one I was running downstairs. It blew the power bill through the roof more than I expected it to. That was one of the things about working from home, was that you consume more things at home. But so I stopped running an air conditioning the next last summer, and this summer I did not put a window unit up here. So on days that it gets really hot that I actually want to sit in air conditioning, I run the air conditioning downstairs, and I just spend that day downstairs. Use less of the house, and then you have to cool less of the house. It's Dune writes in, so you have solar. Who cares? Well, no, my solar is not unlimited. Actually, generally, I generate a credit during the summer because I'm on the grid selling back what I don't use. And then in the winter, I use the credits. And usually I run out of credits before the end of the winter. And I, like the last few months before the sun exposure increases, I have a light power bill that I got to pay. So I'm mostly just paying the solar loan and a few power bills in the winter, a few light power bills in the winter. But that first summer of COVID, when I was home and I was running the window unit up here in addition to the big window unit downstairs, I built up a credit the first few months of summer, and then I blew through the credit and ran up an extra $100 on top of that in the month of like July or August. And I get that bill, and I'm like, how the fuck can I owe money when I'm supposed to be generating a credit? And it was, I still don't know how the fuck that happened. I actually had someone come out here and test my meter, and they came out and said, this is a brand new meter. What do you have us testing this for? I'm like, my house consumed way more power than it should have. And once I took out the hello.
Hey, I'm back.
You're back.
Whatever.
So once I took out that window unit, the problem went away. So that was clearly the problem. But speaking of problems, we have Brian back on the.
When you took a window out unit, meaning air conditioner?
Yeah, that was the first summer of COVID when I was working from home. I had an extra. I used to keep a window unit upstairs in this room, and before COVID, it was only ever used during the weekends of the summer that it got hot. But then when I was home that summer, I used it every day. And then my power bill just went through all of my credit I had built up from the solar panels earlier in the summer, and then tacked on an extra $100 on top of that. So I was expecting a negative bill, and I got a positive $100 bill. Like, not only are you going to have to pay for all your power this winter, but we want $100. And that's why I was like, holy fucking shit. How in the what? And the thing is I had this window unit on one of those Wi-Fi plugs that lets you turn them on and off with an app. And those Wi-Fi plugs claim to be able to measure the power consumption that goes through it so that you can track your energy use through these Wi-Fi plugs that also will turn off and turn on with your app. And you can set timer settings on them, whatever. And so I was tracking the energy consumption of this window unit to make sure it wasn't like gonna cause a unexpected surprise on my next electric bill. And it was way off. It was just way off because I actually compiled all the data I had, and I could never make it make any sense in a spreadsheet. So the only thing that makes sense is the window unit that was up here.
You have an annual true up, right?
An annual what?
True up. So you don't get charged for electricity until they add up the pluses and minuses, right?
Right. I'm on the grid, so it sells back what I don't use. Basically, I generate more power than I use in the summer, and so I get a credit on my bill.
Yeah.
And then, but that summer I used up the credit in like July or August with the window unit.
That's a bummer.
But that Wi-Fi plug claims it didn't consume that much power. But it doesn't matter what my Wi-Fi plug cheapo 5-cent special meter says.
Yeah.
It's what the power company's meter says that counts. I because I got on the phone with them, I'm like, there's a mistake. There's no way I use that much power. And they said, well, no, that's what our meter says you use, so that's what you used. And I mean, there was a conversation, but
well, so your solar installer didn't plan out the system right.
No. They planned the system perfectly fine. Actually, they gave us
assuming that you wouldn't be using air conditioner.
Like I said, this was the first summer of COVID when I was running this window unit up here more frequently than I ever had before.
Yeah.
But I was monitoring it with a faulty monitor, and so I wasn't expecting it to consume what it was consuming.
Now, did you fix that monitor?
No, I just never put the window unit back in. And so if it gets hot enough that I need to work in air conditioning, I just stay downstairs. And things have been back to normal ever since.
Right.
So, anyways, now, did you get a chance to talk to Nick?
Well, I did text him with the, an image of the 2 tweets you sent about it. And I said, Santa Claus and the Grim Reaper are going to visit. I didn't get any response. Unfortunately, I sent it this morning. Of course, it's Labor Day, and I have no idea where he is. Damn.
You sent a text to an elderly friend letting him know that Santa Claus and the Grim Reaper are coming to visit.
Yes, and I said Sims 4. I tried to hit all of the keywords.
Yeah, but if he misses the keyword Sims 4...
I get what you're saying. I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
Damn.
He might be putting his final affairs in order.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say that the Grim Reaper was going to visit him.
Ah, well, yeah, there's that.
But I mean, he could have thought that I meant that. Ooh, bummer.
There was one time Nick texted me, and it's actually kind of a funny story. One of these little unknown things. Because when I changed my phone number, because when I got my current phone, for some reason they couldn't port my Vermont phone number over, which I never lived in Vermont, so it was funny that I had a Vermont phone number. But
right, exactly.
Well, I was in California, and the cheapest phone I can get in Maine, they didn't have a network coverage out in California. So they said, well, we can't send you your phone to California. And I'm like, well, I want to get this set up before I move because I got to give back my work phone. And I'm like asking Dale, could I keep this work phone for a few weeks or month and send it back to you? And he's like, I'd rather not. If that would have been a dumb idea for you, actually. I just send it back when I'm done with it.
So what phone network are you using?
Well, now I'm using Metro PCS. But when I signed up in Maine, it was a smaller outfit that's kind of in the New England area. I forget the name of it. And
they get coverage in Massachusetts?
Well, no, they didn't actually. But they had coverage in Maine. They had coverage in Vermont. And that was important because they wouldn't send me the phone. So I'm like, okay, can you send it to a friend of mine that lives in Vermont? Because at that point, Gothard had moved to Vermont. And they said, sure. And I'm like, okay, but I want it to have a Maine phone number. So if he activates it in Vermont, is it going to activate with an 802 or is it going to activate with the 207 for Maine? Because I want it to activate with the 207.
So the guy frickin' lied.
They lied and said, oh, you're signed up for Maine. It'll activate with the 207. Gothard activated it. It activated with an 802 for Vermont. And he activated it. He mailed it to me. And I had my phone in California roaming, and that was working fine. And then I moved to Maine, and I just lived with an 802 area code phone number. And then I came down to Massachusetts.
So and then you do like to visit other states like New Jersey, California,
this point,
whatever.
Area codes.
Why would you pick a regional carrier that you can't get shit in a place like California?
Well, as long as it's got a network to connect to, it'll work. It's just, what are the roaming details in their plan? Because it worked fine in California.
Yeah.
I mean, if you connect to it, if there's a tower that it'll connect to, it'll work. That's what it comes down to.
Because the roaming will be using somebody else's network, right?
Right. And what I saw is that
okay.
Here is the small print that I overlooked, and this became a problem when I got to Massachusetts because There was no we will charge you for roaming. There was you have a limit to your roaming, and if you go over that limit, we're going to bitch at you about it. And so it turned out that there was a data roaming limit that existed on that phone. So I moved to Massachusetts and I used the data on it. It would reach that roaming data limit.
What was that data limit, you know?
I don't remember. This was years ago. But
a gig? Less? More?
I don't know.
2 gigs?
Don't remember. You could throw out numbers. I'm still not going to remember. But that, you know. So the point
500K.
at some point, I had a phone conversation with someone, and the phone conversation goes, if you keep going over the quota limit, we're eventually going to disable your roaming, or we're going to disable that. And I'm like, well, I'm telling you, I live in this area, and I have a contract that's not up till the end of next year, and I need to use that much data. So can you let me out of the contract early? And they're like, well, no, your contract's not up till the end of next year. Well, then I'm going to keep roaming and using more data. Well, we're going to cut you off if you keep doing that. Well, then give me a solution. And,
well, they cut you off. Does that mean you've terminated the contract?
Well, they would
come at me, boy.
They would cut me off and keep sending the bills is what they would do. So that was. So it never got to that point that they cut me off. Basically, at that point, I started looking at what options there were to trade in or buy out my contract or whatever. And I looked at what Metro PCS was charging, and I looked at how much was left of my contract. And I'm like, how much to buy out this contract and get the fucking, you know.
Right, right.
And it came out that the math worked out okay. And so I eventually canceled it. But they wouldn't let me port the 802 number over. So I had to get a new phone number when I got my current phone.
Sure. Well, which is...
So...
You didn't want a Vermont number anyway, right?
So I sent a group text out to all important contacts to let them know my new phone number. So I included you. I included my Fong. I included Nick.
Yeah.
I might have included Dune on that, and family members. And I also included Emily on that because Emily had my phone number. And the problem is that I didn't have global phone texting or phone calling on my plan. So Emily never got the text with my new phone number. But then Nick replied to my group text saying, okay, thanks. And Nick has an international plan on his phone. So Emily, in the middle of the night one night, got a random text from some guy in Minnesota that she doesn't know who the hell he is saying, okay, thanks. And
okay, thanks.
And it freaked her the fuck out because she's Emily. And so I think a few weeks later we were talking and she's like, oh, was that you that sent that text? I'm like, what number did that come from? She read the number. I'm like, no, that wasn't me. That was Nick. And I'm like, oh, he replied to the whole group. So she was a little pissed at me for that. And I'm like, dude, what do you want me to do? I didn't know it wasn't going to go through to you.
Really? Really? I mean, get over it. It's just a frickin' text.
Now Dune says that
I mean, look at how many junk texts do you get?
No. Dune's
Am I right? Am I right?
Dune's saying he didn't get the text, so maybe I don't have Kansas on my plan either. So I have 49 of the U.S. states, not Kansas, and not Australia. So that's well, obviously I can call Kansas because Dude and I have talked on the phone many times. But anyways, I don't know how that text didn't get through to you. I could have sworn I picked you on my... I mean, how many... Then again, phone contact lists have a way of accumulating people that you can't even remember how the fuck they got on that list. Dune says, use a real cell company. You know what? Maybe this is the new form of accepting Nebraska. Now it's accepting Kansas.
I would be interesting. How does he define a real?
One that's not Metro PCS.
Okay.
One that's not cheap. One that's not local. One that's.
Let me ask you this question.
One that's not Verizon.
How much do you pay for your cheap service?
Let's see. I think I got a Dune specifies Verizon and AT&T are the acceptable. So Dune, I take it you're a fan of monopolies then, but it's not a monopoly if there's two of them. So
Right. See, that's how it works.
because you can point to two companies, it's not a monopoly. Anyways, Metro PCS is perfectly fine for me. I think I'm paying $80 a month for two phones with unlimited data and all that. So,
Really?
yeah.
That doesn't sound cheap.
Well, it's for two lines and unlimited data on one of them.
Well, there's that Verizon outfit that they they don't. What the hell do they call themselves? Well, it's one of the Verizon sub companies that we're offering. Basically, the joke is we're offering a family plan with no family.
Okay.
$25 a month for one line. I'm pretty sure you could work out two, and it's the Verizon network, so it'll be decent.
But here's the thing. I went to a mall, and at the mall they had a store for every service. They had a Verizon store. They had an AT&T store. I think they even had a Sprint store. They had the Metro PCS store. They had a T-Mobile store. There were 5 stores in one place. I walked into each one of them with a notepad and pen. And the Metro PCS came out to the cheapest plan at the time. Now, it's been a while since I've done that, so maybe that has changed.
Yeah.
But
I think my sister-in-law's relatives are using T-Mobile, and from what I gather, T-Mobile sucks.
Okay.
Of course, every phone service in a given area will either do well or suck. Right. There are spots here where Verizon sucks. It's like, how do I not get a decent signal?
I have never had a signal problem with my phone, so I'm also, but I guess I could go take a look what Verizon would do right now, because I was just thinking actually. I don't know. I've had this phone a few years, and I think Kristen's phone is starting to get a little. Well, she's still got like the free first level phone that has a limited amount of internal storage, so she doesn't install any more apps at this point. She only has a few apps, and I remember what it. And even if you put in an micro SD card, it won't take that as part of the phone storage. Is it an
Android? Is it an Android phone?
It's Android.
Yeah,
And one thing else,
I don't get it.
Yeah.
With the Android, I know the older versions of Android, you had the ability to move an app to the SIM, to not the SIM card, but to the extra memory card,
the SIM
and
card.
it would be limited on what ones you could move. It's like, why are you making it so freaking difficult?
And I think what it came down to was the OS had to stay on the internal storage, and any part, because even when you move the app to the micro SD card, it would only move a portion of the app to the micro SD card. And then anytime the app updates, which apps update all the fucking time, it updates and puts it on the main thing. So you periodically had to go through and look and move them all back over to the SD card. It turned into a juggling act.
Right.
And that's where I will criticize Droid against the Windows Phone.
Sure.
Because when you put
or even Apple. Of course, Apple, you cannot add an extra card to it.
So they're not even a contender. Apple's not even a contender in this issue. They lose. They lose.
But you don't have this problem of moving shit around.
But you have a space issue. The reason you're moving shit around is because you have a space issue.
Well, I have 128 gig and I don't have a space issue. I have never had a space issue, and I have a lot of crap on my phone. Yeah.
The problem.
Well, you're knocking the product that I'm using.
Well, the problem,
and I'm telling you wrong.
But the cost of a phone that has more internal storage is way more than the cost of the cheaper phone plus
Each,
an S
each
plus
64 gigs is $100.
plus an
Yes.
SD card. So if you buy the phone and add more storage with the SD card, that is way more cost effective if it will let you use the storage. But the Droid doesn't let you. The Apple won't let you do that at all because they want you to
Yes,
buy the more expensive
right.
phone, which is just ridiculous. That they're basically just
Or
pumping you for more
you
money.
can get an adapter
Or-
to use an SD card.
That's
But
not
it's,
even.
it's only used to bring in pictures.
That's not even feasible, and that doesn't help at
Of
all.
course it's not.
Right.
And
But-
I've never
so-
got one to buy it.
So at least a Droid lets you do something with the SD card. But who really won that one was the Windows Phone. The Windows Phone would format the SD card.
Yet nobody would buy the Windows Phone, so it's been discontinued.
I would have bought another one. Hands
There's
down,
one
no
that they
problem.
sold. Whippy. You're going to make
But-
a lot of profit on that.
But the big thing that it had going was when you added a micro SD card to a Windows Phone, it formatted it as part of the internal shared storage. So it became a phone with that much storage in it. And that is the only
Sure.
phone
Oh, yeah.
that I
Yeah.
ever used that ever did that. So you're, as far as
Sure.
as downloading and using apps, you're at the mercy of whatever storage space the phone comes with, because the reality is trying to juggle apps on a micro SD card
Well, I
on
mean,
an Android
but it
phone
also comes down
is
to
a losing battle.
So in that scenario, yes, the Windows Phone is best, but then again, people picked VHS over what was it called? The Sony choice.
Now Dune says value costs not the same thing. You and I could never work together. And here's the thing: is I agree with you that sometimes you pay more to get something that works a little better, and that's why I did inevitably went back and I bought a more expensive phone that had internal storage. I did it begrudgingly. My point is that Microsoft proved that it was not necessary to have to buy a more expensive phone to have a phone with more storage. That it was very well possible to build a phone that would accept the micro SD card.
Did you ever use
and
one of the
expand the
Motorola?
storage to it? And
Did you ever use-
and that was value right there.
Did you ever use one of these Motorola Droid phones?
No, I've not used one of those.
Yeah, my brother has one and he loves it.
Okay.
Although the other day I was talking to him and he had a little bit of issues. Well, he keeps telling me to throw away my Apple phone, just throw it away. And so he
No,
was
sell it.
having some issues. So I said, "Oh, why don't you throw away your stupid phone?"
Hey, look it. If you like the Apple phone, if you like the iPhone, use the iPhone. I used an iPhone for a few years, and it got the job done. I'm not a huge phone user, and for all I know, the point is that I'm considering going and looking at what I'm eligible to upgrade to and what the cost would be, because Kristen's phone is light on space. This one has more space than what she has right now. So if I bought an upgraded phone, I could hand this one down to her, swap the SIM card, take another one that's like an equivalent or maybe an upgraded version of this. The thing is this is a big phone. And it was a new model at the time. They just got one in.
Who's the maker of that one?
This one's an LG. Typically, what happens
and
is...
what's Kristen's?
I believe it's also an LG, but a lesser
Okay.
one. Basically, I started
Are
with...
you sure that the SIM card is compatible between one and the other?
Well, I could verify that before I do that.
Yeah.
If not, I could have...
Or
them
you
port-
plug it in, you find out that it doesn't
Or I
work.
could have them port the number over. We don't need to bore people with the details. The point is, I could get her phone number put on this phone. one
Well,
way
but
or
we
the other.
want. Is Sparky Toaster around? I haven't seen him.
He got tired of this shit.
Oh! See, did he lose his cereal box?
I think I mentioned yesterday that we're probably going to be talking about Sims today, so he probably just took that as his cue to...
And we're talking about SIM cards instead.
So when work called and said we need you to work late today, he said yes before they even finished the sentence. Now, Dune asks if the Google ones do that. I'll have to research that. I will have to research that.
Probably.
But this phone has enough internal storage. I don't do that much, which is why...
How much internal storage do you have, by the way?
I don't even know. I don't remember, but I don't do much. But enough.
Oh, that's right. That would be a technical question.
Oh, fuck you. But Bod Pro writes in, you and Johnny could never work together. you would argue a lot. I think we only had one real argument in the office, and that was when we were arguing about whether or not.
I got an ad on my. I just went into the Twitch and I got an ad.
Yeah.
It's some gaming, fighting, bring your great adventure.
Yeah.
Guild Wars. There we go. Sponsored by Guild Wars today.
The only argument we ever really got into in the office working together was you were spewing some stupid bullshit about Outlook's caching being a security issue. And I was explaining to you why that was not true. And you responded to my logical, factual explanation by throwing your water cup, spraying me with water.
Yeah, I remember that part, but I don't remember what that was the topic?
Well, yeah, because when you launch Outlook, it shows you the emails that it has cached before it syncs up and prompts you for your password to sync up the mailbox. And you said that,
oh, yeah, that would be a security risk.
Well, no, it wasn't, because all you were viewing was the data that is stored in the in your Windows profile, which you had already entered in your Windows password to have access to that cached data.
Oh.
So you already entered in a password. So yes, the Outlook, the Exchange server wanted your password to sync up the data again, but it was only showing you your local profile data that you already entered in the password to view. So I say that was not at all a security issue. But then again, I'm not a security person.
Right.
In fact, I'm anti-security, because security gets in the way of my end users doing their damn job, because I have to deal with this fucking bullshit just to use.
Well, my favorite security issue was, and I was working in a place where they had a lot of classified information.
Uh-huh.
So security was a huge issue, right?
Right.
One of the guys that was working on the security team, whatever, his name was Hacker. That was his last name.
Nice.
Perfect. I'm not sure that he actually knew what he was doing.
So he was not a hacker.
Well, yeah, that's the funny part.
He got the reputation from the name.
I'm not sure that he could recognize a hacking issue.
Well, he recognized family issues, which in a sense were hacker issues, but that was not the hacker issues that he needed to.
So Dune is saying, fight.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to do that. But
no, hey, do you watch BattleBots?
No.
This Thursday? I guess it's Thursday. This Thursday will be the finale of the current battling. They're going for the Golden Bolt.
Okay. Anyway,
that's fun. If Venison was here, he would be jumping up and all down about it.
He was,
and we don't have Mars with us. He would enjoy that too.
So anyways, but we are here to talk about how
Sims.
Yeah, The Sims. So I'm gonna. I took a backup of this save state so that we could start at this point. So what happened was I was playing The Sims, and something was acting glitchy, and so I wanted to close and reopen the game to try and fix the glitch issue. And in the course of doing that, it was stopped at this point of the game where they were right in the middle of Winterfest dinner, which is what The Sims calls Christmas. And Father Winter shows up at 8:00 so that people can ask him for a present.
Oh, so it's not actually Santa Claus.
No, he's called Father Winter. Actually, his name is what's his name? His name is I forget his name. He has a name. He also likes to sleep in his boxer shorts with red hearts on him. This is what you find out about Santa when you ask him to move in with you.
Creepy dude.
But he brings 500,000 simoleons to the household. So.
So that's kind of like rent.
That's
or a gift.
That basically your household consists of a household pot of money. So anyone that earns money, it's like joint checking, for everyone in the house. That's the way Sims
okay.
currency
So,
works.
okay.
So if someone moves into the house, they bring their money with them to your house. So when you get Santa to move in with you, you get 500,000 simoleons.
Nice.
Yeah. So that is a nice way to get rich. But Madeline is a prolific author who is rolling in the publishing royalties. So I didn't really need the Santa funds, but I'll take it.
Sure, why not? Yeah.
So
What do you do to attract him to live at your place?
well, basically, it has to do with building up enough of a friendship that when you ask him to move in, he would be inclined to say yes. Usually, that means a romantic type of relationship, where you have the option to ask one to move in. All right, so here we are, all sitting down to a nice turkey dinner. Oh, and it's Craig's birth. Is it? No, it's Timmy. Oh, whose birthday is it today? It is Craig's birthday today, because we got 3 kids. Laurel and Chester have fell in love, got married, and had 3 kids together, and that's little Timmy.
Oh, you were pointing at one of the kids.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
little
there you
Timmy.
go.
He's the oldest child.
Tiny Tim. Yeah.
Right. That's Chester. He's an old man. This is his ex-wife Madeline, who still lives here, and this is his current wife Laurel Banning. We went with a redhead Laurel instead of a blonde Laurel. That's all my children.
The ex-wife is a lot older.
Well, they were both
well.
an old couple when I created them as a married couple, because I created them
Right. So he ditched her for this younger girl.
Well, it's more complicated than that. Actually, they both died. She bought the house. She befriended them as ghosts, and her and Madeline formed a romantic relationship when she was a ghost, and they were married for a period of time. But then Chester came back into the household, and Madeline and Chester rekindled their friendship, and they became a couple as ghosts, and she broke off a relationship with Laurel. And then at some point, they were on and off, and at some point, Laurel and Chester hooked up, and they got married, and then at some point, Laurel died of laughter, and they were all ghosts. And then I built up Madeline's fishing skill. She caught an angelfish. I built up Chester's gardening skills. He grows death flowers. And I built up Laurel's cooking skills. So given all the right ingredients, she can cook an ambrosia, which will bring a ghost back to life from the dead. So they've all been brought back from the dead with ambrosias, and also Book of Lives too. But so Chester and Laurel remained married in life and started a family, and Timmy was born. And then after Timmy was born, we have little over here we have the 2 toddlers. They are not twins, even though they look alike. They will age at different times. They just happen to be auto-generated with the same look. But this one in the back here is Craig, and this one is Ulysses. So they're all excited about. So when you have a holiday, there's different tasks that the more these to complete, the better or more successful the holiday was. Because this is a computer game, so a holiday doesn't just happen. A holiday is, you're scored on how well you holiday. Like the kids here, they don't care much about the grand meal or the festive spirit. They just want the presents and Father Winter to show up and ask.
Yeah.
So in order for him to have a great holiday, he needs to have an opportunity to ask Father Winter for a present. They all want to ask Father Winter for a present to check this off. The problem is that when Father Winter shows up, it happens right at the same time as the Grim Reaper shows up. And Father Winter gets so preoccupied mourning the death of these 2 people in front of him that he is way too distracted to give out presents, and so they don't get their presents from him, as you'll see here.
So Father Winter is not here right now, right?
No, he's outside approaching the door, is what he's doing.
Okay.
But now... Uh-oh. They both are dropping dead. And there's Father Winter right on cue. Throw a few presents on the pile of gifts there.
Whoa.
And now... And now Santa is kind of noticing something's not right here. And Laurel hasn't quite noticed yet, but they're all starting to notice now that these people are not moving. Oh, Timmy's crying because his dad's dead on the floor. Laurel not so concerned right now yet. She's figuring out where to put down his plate. But
She gets
Santa
to keep
here.
the house.
There's
Is that
the Grim
Father
Reaper.
Winter crying?
Yes.
Uh-oh, there's the Grim Reaper. Is that what is
But-
he called? Or
But that's okay. We can
wait a
give,
minute, what is he called?
his name is Grim Reaper.
Soul Ripper. Soul Reaper.
But Santa still does the ho 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 in between crying. All right, Laurel is bribing him with a death flower to spare Chester's life. No, spare Madeline's life. But now he's going to go focus on Chester next. But they're all crying.
Oh boy, this is so sad.
Yeah, but he's going to go bring Madeline back to life now that I bribed him with a flower. But while that's happening, I'm trying to get the kids to ask for a present, but they're all too busy crying, and Santa's too busy crying that even if I get them to stop crying enough to go over to him, Santa won't stop crying long enough. And then they get tired and start trying to go to bed.
Is that one recovering? The old lady
Yeah.
recovering?
Yeah, I bribed Death to spare Madeline's life. So he brought Madeline back to life. So
Okay,
now
how about Grandpa? You gonna try it on Grandpa?
I'm going to try to... Well, actually, he's the dad, but...
Well,
he's old
yeah,
enough to be the
whatever.
grandpa. 'Cause,
Yeah, exactly.
Laurel likes old men. And it's Craig's birthday. Happy birthday, Merry Christmas. Does this look like a good Christmas birthday dinner to you? All right, so there's Madeline bribing Death to spare Chester while Laurel is mourning. And Santa's still way too distracted.
Was that more cookies?
I don't know. No, they don't speak any English. They speak a unique language that is nonsense.
I didn't see what the bubble said.
Oh,
There's the Grim Reaper. Quick!
no, he brought him back to life. So now they've both
Oh.
been spared. So what I
All
was able
right.
to do,
Everybody's gonna be happy.
yeah. So when I played this, finally, when I finished experimenting with the scenario, I could not get Father Winter to the point where he would give the kids gifts. He was way too distracted, and by the time he calmed down, it was time for him to leave. But I was able to get Madeline to charm him and invite him to move into the household. And so him and Madeline have gotten married now in my current game file, because this is an old game file. And Laurel and Chester... they had to get remarried, actually, because Chester died and came back as a ghost. And so Laurel had to remarry Chester as a ghost because death does them part. So
Wasn't she gonna marry Father Christmas?
No, Madeline marries Father Christmas.
Oh, Madeline does. Okay.
Laurel is married to Chester, but when Chester dies, he comes back as a ghost, but that dissolves their marriage. So they're still romantic towards each other. They still have all their friendships, but they're no longer married. So I had to have him propose again so they can get remarried, her as a living person, him as a ghost. Although they still won't let them have children with him as a ghost. So I'd have to bring him back to life in order to have a fourth child. But I think 3's enough for them. So anyways, that's the scenario. Now, I could have left them both dead, but I brought them both back to life. But we could just exit without saving and replay that, because that is like I said, I now have this thing where I could at any point in time I want to bring up a Christmas dinner where 2 people drop dead and Santa and Death walk in at the same time. So
Right.
Dune writes in with my backstory. In short, everyone was fucking each other. Yeah, and that's
Pretty much.
That's difficult to do, because if you're going to fuck multiple partners, you shouldn't flirt with multiple partners in the presence of other partners. Sims, however, will get jealous with that shit, but they won't stop themselves from doing it. So if I have Laurel being romantic in a romantic relationship with Madeline and Chester at the same time, when I'm just letting them do their own stuff, Laurel will start flirting with one in front of the other. And then the other gets jealous. So it's really hard in The Sims to balance love triangles because the Sims do not naturally hide their transgressions. Because it'd be more fun if I could play it as a secret affair that goes on behind the scenes. But the problem is like if I send Chester to work and I have Laurel and Madeline get like romantic with each other, when Chester comes home from work, Laurel might do something flirty towards Chester right in front of do something flirty with Madeline right in front of Chester, and I didn't tell her to do that. So it makes it really hard to control the affairs and to keep the jealousies from coming up. And then Chester
So why doesn't he have something going on at work?
Like his own affair?
Yeah.
Well, even if everyone has their own affairs, they'll still get jealous if they see their romantic partners interacting with people other than them.
Keep those people apart.
Well, it's hard to do when they all live in the same house together. Now there was...
Yeah, but the person at work doesn't live in your house now.
Right, but it's also hard to control Sims in multiple households because time keeps moving even when you leave the household. So then you don't know what they're doing during that time, and they might mess up something that you're trying to do. Like right now, I'm trying to maintain Chester's garden. If I go and focus on a different house for a few days, Chester might not maintain his garden in the absence, and then I'll come back and all his plants will be dead.
Right.
And Sparky Toaster is here.
Sparky.
Now the important question is, what type of phone does Sparky use? I'm thinking he's the landline type. Nah. So that is a scenario that I could have fun with now. Call up anytime. And you know what? I don't. Sparky, were you here on my little what was that? Saturday night or Friday night? I forget which night that was now. No, it was Friday night because Saturday night was the 5-hit. Sparky uses an iPhone. Oh, you're one of those. Okay. Well, so
yay, Sparky!
You're one of those with Doom
which one do you have?
I think he's got the one with the apple on it.
Well, which Apple one do you have? I have 13.
Yeah. Let's see. He has to climb the pole like on Green Acres. And Hannah writes in, "Hey, hello, Hannah. I don't know who
Hi,
Hannah is." So, anyways, let's try the scenario one more time. Now, Brian, you have any ideas how would you handle two people dying in the middle of Christmas dinner and Santa walks in? Anything crazy you think we could try to do with this?
I think you pretty much done what I would have done.
Okay, this time I'm going to let him die. I'm going to let him die and see how that plays out, and then see if what we can do.
And they'll come back as ghosts, right?
Well, actually, it usually takes them a number of days to visit from their urn as a ghost. So I don't know if we're going to get that to happen very quickly.
So you'll put the urn on the mantle.
And Hannah wants to know how we're doing. We're doing good, Hannah. Thank you for dropping by. We don't normally do a whole lot of Sims here, and usually it's boring when we try to, but you got... And hello, Zoe. So we're going to do this one more time for Zoe and Hannah. Once again, I managed to close and save my game at this point, and then when I resumed, the shit hit the fan, and I've saved this save point ever since just because it is just so crazy that I have to share it with the world and try to figure out ways I could try to have more fun with this. So we're going to share the screen again. We're going to resume. Once again, we have Christmas dinner with Chester, who is the old man, and the patriarch of the family, who is married to Laurel, who's younger than him. They have 3 kids together, and Madeline, Chester's ex-wife, also lives with them. And Laurel was also in a romantic relationship with Madeline for a period of time, but it no longer is. And it's also the middle child, Craig's, birthday. And now it's Madeline's time to die, and it's Chester's time to die. And, Santa Claus, for some reason, decided to not come in the front door right now.
Uh-oh. Hey, someone's going to have to run out and get him.
Well, he's a little confused. He's not sure he has the right house, but he's going to come in the back door instead. But we got some corpses.
Who
on the
was
floor
that
now.
that looked like they were coming up the stairs?
Oh, I think that was a guest or someone else in the neighborhood that's walking by. That's not any. I don't know. People sometimes randomly come to your house. So now we got Santa, who's alternating between crying and ho-ho-hoing. And Laurel is not letting this disrupt her dinner. The kids, however, not so happy. Let's see if we can at least distract them from this.
So give them a present, right?
Here we go. You know what we should do? We should have all the kids, and Laurel should gather up and do it. So we'll have the kids and Laurel all open presents together to try to get them away from the situation and let the Grim Reaper do what he needs to do.
There's the Grim Reaper.
Come on,
Everybody's
kid!
crying.
Quit crying and open your present.
That's right. Wait a minute, is he going to take her?
Well, he took Madeline, and now he's going to take Chester. And
Yeah, but the woman in the green, he came to her like, or was he asking for something from her?
I don't know. They just walk around. I'm trying to get them to open presents to try to distract them from this. No, they won't. They won't do anything I ask them to do right now because this is the only thing that will. Oh, actually, she did pick up a present and open it up.
Good.
Laurel got the Schmapple coffee. She will treasure it. Oh, okay. The kids are opening their gifts.
Is that like Folgers?
Yeah, but Schmapple.
Yeah.
Okay, so the kids are opening their presents, they're excited, and they go right back to crying. Because their dad is lying on the floor dead in front of them, and the Grim Reaper's coming here to do his job.
Okay,
And
Reaper,
Santa-
get your job done.
Santa just won't stop crying. Santa's a weepy. Hey, why don't you go ask Santa for your present? Come on, kids, ask Santa for a present. You all need to get on with your lives.
That'll
here.
make him, or bring him cookies.
All right, that's it. We're just gonna have Laurel fight him for a present because he's not giving us presents. So there we. That's how you get your present from Santa.
Jiminy, that's harsh.
Well, she just lost her husband. She's a little on edge right now. So we don't
Yeah, I
got
guess.
time for Santa's to just walk into our house and start mourning our family members as if he's a member of the family. It's like, dude, drop off the presents and get the fuck out of here. We're kind of having a thing going on right now. In case you haven't noticed, we're a little busy. We don't have time for this shit. Go, go, go! And Laurel Banning wins.
Well, she's younger than him.
Yeah.
Oops,
And,
uh-oh, what's happening now?
Well, now
Oops.
Chester's an urn.
Turn into an urn.
So now we got 2 urns in the house.
All right, so we
But
put
you
them
know
on
what?
a mantle now?
We don't want
Or they
to.
just stay there?
We don't want to let the cake go to waste here. So let's get Craig to blow out the candles and celebrate his birthday.
Isn't the Grim Reaper done with his job?
Yeah.
Or is he going
but
to take one of the kids?
sometimes he hangs around a little bit and makes himself comfortable in your home. Dude, why
Invite
are
him
you
to
not-
stay.
Dude, I hate this one. Now, of course, Craig, in all of his excitement, did not manage to get himself to the potty on time and is now carrying around a green line of stink
boy.
in his pants.
Oh, boy.
Now, when I played this, I had Madeline. I bribed Death with a death flower to keep Madeline alive and had her invite Santa to the household. Dude, why are you not helping him with the candles? Oh, do you like that we got Christmas music playing in the background on the radio throughout all this too? Okay.
I can't even hear it. There you go. A Rockin' Christmas.
Yes, Rockin' Christmas. We lost 2 members of the family, and that was the worst birthday ever. So
Birthday and Christmas.
worst birthday and Christmas ever. But we can try to get in a fight with Death. Oh nope, Death's done. He's leaving. Now she's a single woman now, so maybe she could try to undo this anger between them from the fighting, and maybe
Father Christmas is available, right?
Yeah, maybe we could get them together this time since Madeline's not alive to get together. And so have him try to cheer him up, and you know what? We'll give him a gift. We'll give him a death flower. Since he's just witnessed all this death. Oh, isn't that nice? She's trying to work her charm on him.
Wow.
Yeah. Now let's see if we can actually get. Nope, he's done. He's done his job. He's leaving. That's the thing. You really got to befriend him. And
I thought he was
house.
already living there.
No,
chase after him, man.
In my save file,
whoops, he's gone.
Mind you, I played this through, so in my future save file, in my current save file, which is a number of weeks past this in the middle of summer, yeah, he's living in the house. Chester is a ghost. Madeline, I bribed Death with a death flower to keep Madeline alive, and I had Madeline drink a youth potion to bring her back to the early stages of being an elder. So she now has time before she'll die again. And I just did that to give her time to finish her career before I bring her back as a ghost. So anyways, that's that scenario. And we and I have that backed up and saved someplace so I can play that as many times as I want to. So let's see what everyone has to say about this. Let's see. Sparky Toaster sent some Dune and flag emoticons. Then said, "Oh no, time to count cereal." And Dune says, "There, finally." No. Wow. So yeah, that was that's how that plays. If I try to get Laurel to, the problem is it's going to take longer for Laurel to befriend Father Winter and invite him to move in, because I had Laurel fight him. Although I guess I could just play it again and not have her fight him. But the thing is, in my save file, Madeline had built up a friendship with Santa from past years that he's visited. And they are on each other's phone call contact list. So they call each other regularly. So they were already pretty good friends. So it's pretty easy to get Madeline. It was pretty easy to get Madeline to invite Santa to move into the house once I got past the whole Madeline's death thing by bribing off Death with a death flower. So, Dune writes in the no was for the Christmas tunes. Now Sparky goes.
What he was hoping for is a Yule log.
Well,
but that's a visual thing.
There is a fireplace channel on the TV. Now Dune wants the cow plant. Well, I got to do some work to get the cow plant, but we could try. We might have to get Sparky to count Cheerios before that happens, though. But we got 45 minutes.
What does the cow plant do?
It's a plant that has the head of a cow on it when it blooms. But even if I get the cow plant seed, it takes a number of hours for it to actually grow and bloom into a plant. So I don't know if we can get the cow plant with. We could put the groundwork on here. So the way you get a cow plant is you have to let's see. Ways cow plant sprouts from the rare cow plant berry. If you haven't got hands on a cow plant berry yet, there's more than one way to get them. Cutting and grafting. You take a cutting from a strawberry bush and a snapdragon plant. Graft a piece of the snapdragon plant onto the strawberry to make a dragon fruit plant. Lastly, cut another snapdragon piece and graft it onto the dragon fruit to obtain a cow plant. So I basically, let's see, I got to graft Snapdragon and Strawberry onto each other to make dragon fruit. And once I harvest a dragon fruit, I can plant that into a dragon fruit plant. And I
Isn't it easier just to steal a car?
Well, I could probably cheat this, but where's the sport in that?
Right.
Ordering seeds. When your sim reaches the highest level in gardening, you may purchase rare seed packets by clicking on a garden and selecting the action bubble purchase seeds. Or you could order them through a computer. So that might be a way to do it too. All right, so let me delete that. And let me change my folder name for the current back to Sims 4. And so now we'll pick up the Sims where I currently am after working past that situation. And we'll see if we can get ourselves a cow plant. Chester should be able to buy rare seeds, but I didn't see that option when I went into the store. So I should see if I could do that. All right, so let's come back over here and let's share my screen again. Now, I guess Joe sells. Now to answer Sparky's question, we were talking about what phone services we use, and I was bitching about iPhones and Droids, and that the Windows Phone was the best. Blah blah blah, and it's not worth rehashing the whole thing. But that's all that was. So I was doing a little callback there by asking you what you were using. So anyways, that is what I'm currently trying to do. Currently, I'm trying to grow a cow plant, and I'm trying to get Santa to stop mourning the death of Chester, and Chester to stop mourning his own death, because they can't seem to stop fucking mourning at this damn gravestone. All right. So now the question is can I start doing some grafting here? Oh, that's because I'm on the kid. There we go. Let's see. Can I take a... oh, here we go. I could take a cutting of the strawberry bush. But my Snapdragon plant is not quite well yet. It still needs to grow some more. But Chester's a little distracted talking to himself. Now, sometimes taking a cutting from a plant can make it revert back down a bit. So we'll see how that goes. But let's see if we can buy the rare seeds. Let's see, purchase seeds. Oh, here we go, rare plants. $1,000 each. Well, heck, we got 500,000 Santa bucks. So heck, we'll just buy 10 of these. One of them is bound to have a cow plant in it. All right, so let's take a look at my inventory here and find my seed package I just bought. We're going to open that up. And, oh, there we go. A cow plant berry. All right, so now I need a place to plant it. Now, is that seasonal? I don't think it's seasonal, so I think we can just go ahead and plant it outside. Oh, Timmy, he's living with you. He lives with you. You still have a day-to-day Why are you still mourning your dad's death when he's living with you as a ghost? These dumb kids. All right, so we're going to plant the cowberry here. Because I've run out of room in the greenhouse to plant it. But it's not a seasonal plant, so it should grow fine outside. A plantable, strangely bovine fruit. So, and you can milk it too once it grows up. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm not going to save this game because I do want to grow a cow plant through grafting. Now it disappeared because that's my lemon tree. Oh, there we go. There's my cow plant. So let's water our plants. And then we're going to fertilize that. Damn, don't I have any fish? I guess I need to send Madeline to go fish. In the meantime, we'll fertilize with a plant. I don't think plants work great as fertilizer, but whatever. Just to get something going on there. Let's get Madeline to go. Actually, cancel that. We're not going to we're not gonna do that. We're gonna send Madeline for some fish, because I believe I saw there's actually a nice fishing spot right back here. So we can, and she's retired now, so we're gonna have her fish with. I find that roses make a good bait. I don't know if we can catch any angelfish in this body of water. I'm not clear on. Now the kids are off to school, so that's good. Laurel is sleeping, but she's also hungry, but she'll figure that out. So I don't know. What do you think of all this? Oh, God. Santa again? Really? I can't get Santa to stop doing this.
What's he doing?
He keeps mourning Chester. Mind
Oh
you,
boy.
Chester's right here as a ghost. He lives with them. He interacts with them. They know he's there, but they keep coming out here and mourning him. I don't understand the logic of mourning a ghost that lives with the household. But that is a thing. I'm at the point where I'm getting ready to just build like a outdoor shed with no doors and store these all as urns in the shed so they can't get to them, so that they'll stop mourning. But then I'd have to give up this nice graveyard in the backyard. And who wouldn't want a graveyard in the backyard? Oh, and when Chester's a ghost, he likes to like just spontaneously start possessing different objects. Which startled. Here's the other thing. Laurel, mind you, Laurel made friends with and got in a romantic relationship with Madeline as a ghost. Laurel married Chester as a ghost. Laurel has been living with ghosts a long time. Laurel is scared of ghosts. So that's another fun thing that I have to keep playing with. Every now and then Laurel gets all scared because she saw a ghost. It's like, dude, you've been fucking one in your bed every night for the past few years. Now you're scared you saw one? Anyways, and ghosts do still use the bathroom. And they get hungry and they eat. And all right, so we got Madeline to catch us some fish. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to see what fish she's caught us so far. It's been a while since I got her to catch an angelfish, though. So Chester's kind of... Well, we have a book of life if we really want to bring Chester back to life. But let's give Chester this fish. And this way we could have Chester come here and fertilize this cowberry plant that we planted with a nice bass. And my lemon tree's still not growing back. That's too bad. All right, so now we kind of wait and see if this grows. So I'm not going to save this, so I'm just going to let it play out, fast forward. Hey, maybe we'll get Santa to pay some bills since he's too busy being weepy all the time. May as well. There we go. You go pay those. And yeah, let's send Santa out on another space mission. See what happens. Oh, Chester's gonna go mourn his death. An asteroid is rocketing towards the planet. What is Clement going to do? Try to blast it, block it with ship. Let's blast it. That seems safer. The asteroid shatters into fragments, which burn up harmlessly into the atmosphere. Clement, Santa's name is Clement, is able to grab some fragments that blasted loose. So now, whenever they go out, they usually come back with some kind of a thing that they earned from their trip. Usually it's in the form of rocks of some sort. Madeline just caught a Madame Zoe's voodoo doll. Really? Hey, Zoe, I didn't know you had a voodoo doll, or that you could catch it if you go fishing in the stream behind the house. Madeline just caught an apple. You could go fishing for produce. This is the things they catch fishing. Madeline caught a perch. Madeline caught a koi. Clement found a space rock. Clements has safely returned from exploring the cosmos. Madeline caught a perch. Madeline caught an apple. Madeline caught a tetra. And Timmy's grades are up. And Craig has returned from school. He's one of the top students. Ulysses is a B student. Timmy had a eureka moment being a genius. It gave him a boost to one of their more practiced skills. Oh, there we go. And like I said, we're still waiting for this cow plant. All right, a little mini cow head has spurted up here. So it's starting to grow a little bit. Now, once again, I'm not going to save this because I want to do it by grafting, and I'm really not paying attention to what's going on in the house, so I'm leaving them to their own devices right now and just making sure that we keep up with caring for the plant. Here, let's have them talk to the plant. Plants like that when you talk to them. So what do you think, Brian? Does this look like your kind of game?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's fun.
All right. You ever play any of the Sims?
Yeah, actually, I have the Sims for the Wii.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I almost don't count that because it's more linear type of game, whereas this is very sandbox. But
there's no.
But there's
I
some
agree,
principles of
but
it. Yeah.
that's what I got.
Yeah. No, it was cool. I mean, I gave you some of the principles. Did you ever beat that one, or how far?
I'm sorry. What?
You were playing the Sims Castaway, and I think you
Right.
got the Sims off of one island to another island. But did you ever get beyond that?
Crap,
or-
I don't remember. It's been so long. Excuse me.
All right, we're going to have them come out, 10 garden. Also, one thing that helps the plants is to keep a bee hive near the plants. So I've got this bee box that I maintain, and that helps. Well, we're just waiting for our cow plant to... No, I'll do that. Let's go take a look what's going on in chat. Hey, Fire Tiki thingy. Yes, I bought the most expensive bar that you could buy, and the most expensive bar that you could buy has tiki torches that keep spewing fire in the house. I don't know if this was meant to be outdoors, maybe, but there it is. So, let's see. This looks a little different. All right, let's have him research the plant. All right, so we're basically just fast forwarding, waiting for a plant to grow, which is not a normal way to play The Sims. Usually, you focus on a lot of things, you come back to things. Also, this property has a lot of gems around it. I never really explored what I could do with that. Ulysses is currently at school. Skipping school will result in bad grades. Should Ulysses skip school? Why is it asking me about him skipping school when he's at school? No. He shouldn't skip school. Okay. Did he go? He didn't go to school. I told him not to skip school. Okay, there he goes. I don't care. I'm not going to save this file. Why did I care? We're just waiting for the cow plant to grow. We're watching the cow-shaped grass growing is what we're doing. Now that Craig's on the honor roll, he may as well have a sign on his back that says, "Kick me." Oh, wait, he does. Should he tell the teacher or try to find the culprit on his own? Find the culprit. Great thing about stupid people is they never cover their tracks. Spraying red marker over his razor's hand, Craig peels off the sign and gives the bully a friendly pat, transferring his sign in the torment. Okay. So why is this guy scared now? Oh, he's afraid of the dark, but it's light out. Damn it, Santa. Will you quit with the morning? All right, let's do a little garden tending. All my plants are looking pretty good. Oh, hey, we could take a snippet of this too. Of course, that's the long way to do it, and we're going to do that. Okay, so those are growing pretty good. So when I try to do this for real, when I resume, those 2 plants are going to do a good job. So that's good. So we're just waiting for this to grow up a bit here. Oh, Timmy's going to start working his fast food job. Yeah, I wonder how many... this is certainly a Cheerios counting moment here. Because trying to do one little thing, it's better... This is why this type of material works better as edited. I mean, the Christmas dinner thing was perfect. That's really the only thing I've made work on this channel. And that was just dumb luck that I had that game saved at that point. But, so Brian, what else is going on new with you?
Oh, not too much.
I saw you connected and did a little Grand Theft Auto earlier.
Yeah. You saw me. How did you see that?
Well, because you're on my friends list and
so you went in there and you saw me.
Well, no, I was my Steam account was logged in the background, so it let me know that you logged into Steam, and I know the only reason you signed into Steam is to play Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
So
damn, there's a security risk.
Well, that's only because...
Oh, that's right, because we're friends.
We are You and I have accepted each other as friend requests and have said that we're okay with the other knowing when we're on. And you could probably hide your status if you're really concerned. But, so do you have fun with Grand Theft Auto today?
A little bit. I did have a interesting issue where I when I got in, they threw me into an event, and I really had no idea because I was not paying attention to the screen prompts that told me what was going on. So like the first one, I just was driving around, crashing into things and what have you. I lost. They told me I was a loser.
Oh, yeah, the game will tell you that.
Yeah. And then went to the next event, and I did a little bit better. But, again, I lost.
That's interesting that just randomly, without warning you, threw you in an event. I don't know, is that a new feature, maybe? To try to encourage more people?
Well, yeah, it was an anniversary issue.
Oh.
This is some anniversary of the game.
Oh, so it's just like, hey, happy anniversary, we're throwing you into something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then after a while, then I got out of it, and I stole a car, beat the crap out of it, have the cops chase me a little bit.
Yeah, well, maybe, next
week... Yeah,
week...
because it had been a while since I played, so I might as well kind of get into the swing of it.
Yeah, we'll have to see what's going on next week, because we're certainly not going to do Sims again next week, unless we need to revisit the cow plant. But even that wouldn't take long. I'd have one ready by next week. But
right.
Anyways, man, this is still not growing. Well, anyways, let's see if anything else is going on in the chat while we're waiting for a cow plant to grow. Johnny buys the most expensive stuff in games with a real life cheapy McFace. That's not true. I don't buy only cheap things, but I do kind of weigh. Phones are one of those things that all I really need to do is to make a phone call, play a few files, and podcasts or whatever. I don't need a fancy bells and whistles phone. What I do need is space, and so I for many of my phones, I had the cheapest phone with the lowest amount of storage. Windows phones would let me add an SD card, which it would absorb into the storage, and that would get me by. But then I found out, as you know, things are taking more space, you need a phone with more storage. Sparky writes in, yeah, Dune, Mr. McCheapy then complains because things don't work like the McExpensive stuff. Well, let me tell you, I've bought plenty of expensive stuff that is also shit. So cost,
Might as well get the cheap shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
cheap, expensive, value. They're not always. It's not always that simple. It really isn't. And a lot of times, if I buy a cheap thing and it disappoints me, it's because. Now, Dune writes in, I wrote about the girl asking about the phone. Anyways, the real problem is now OX64 goes, that's why you buy Android and not iPhone. Well, the problem with Android is that you can put an SD card in and you can store music or photos or external data on it. But if your apps take up all the space in your phone, which the cheapest phone can get taken up by app space quickly, Android doesn't let you easily install apps onto the SD card. It'll let you move an app onto the SD card, but even then, certain parts of the app have to stay in with the OS, and the OS has to stay in on the internal storage. And then if you do move, and only some apps let you move them onto the SD card, and then you go through and move your apps to the SD card and free up some space, if the app ever updates, it installs the update to the internal storage. So every now and then you periodically have to go through and check all your apps again and move them back to the SD card to free up the space again. OX64 says there is no problem with Android, it's always the operator. I disagree on this one. What I described, there is no operator way to fix that. The only operator way to fix that is to buy a more expensive device that has a higher storage space. Because it cannot be maintained with SD storage. And Microsoft has proven that you can design a phone with an OS that integrates the SD card into the internal storage and just uses it all so that you don't have to just buy a bigger phone, which is a great way to cut cost by buying the lower storage phone and just adding an SD card, which is way cheaper than what they charge for the phones with higher storage. LX4 writes in, never to do anything what you're talking about. The phone just works and all my apps. Well, that's because you have a phone with enough internal storage for the apps that you're using. You probably, what I'm saying is if you get the cheap phone that has very limited internal storage, you'll start running out of space with your apps. And then if you try to resolve it. Now he says $35 phone. Well, how I don't look it. Well, you have plenty of storage. Anyways, let's check on our cow plant. Anyways, every system has their problem. And I will say there's
absolutely.
There is a certain simplicity to the iPhone. And many people use it. But iPhone, Droid, they all have their challenges. Although I gotta say, my stepmother's having a real challenge. You know what a big problem is? A big problem is trying to share photos with people using the messaging apps that come with your phone. Because different systems and different plans have different data limits. So my stepmother regularly has like her children sending her pictures, and they might send her like 10 pictures at a time or a certain amount of pictures at a time.
And what are they using to send the pictures?
Well, they come through on her messaging app, on her texting app, so through a text, right? But when she goes, it'll oftentimes only let her attach 1 or 2 photos at a time, and she's like, well, how come I can't just go and select 5 or 10 photos? I have a lot of photos I want to send. It'll take me forever to send them one at a time. And so I pull up the phone, and this is not something I do. I don't do a lot of picture taking and sending, and usually if I send someone a photo, I send 1. And so I'm like, well, you could reduce the quality of the photo. You could set your phone to take lower quality photos, and then that would reduce them, and then that would, because you're basically somewhere you're running into a data limit. Well, how come they can and I can't? I don't know. But when I Google it, I found that, the phone's OS could have a data limit. Your data plan can have a data limit, or the carrier could have a data limit. The phone itself could there's so many places that there's no clear answer to that. I could not give her any.
So find out who is sending the multiple files, and what phone they have, and what service
plan
they
have, and what service they have. That's
exactly.
kind of what it comes down to. But even then, it's such a there's so many elements that are married together. Because phone texting apps, this system was not built with the thought that people are going to send high quality resolution pictures attached to a text. It was built as a way to share text in the form of data, and then someone's like, well, let's add a detachment option, and then cameras got better in phones, and now here we are. Now, a lot of people will use different types of apps to share their photos, but when you get to someone that's in the age group and the technical level of like my stepmother, she doesn't have a bunch of apps installed on her phone. She makes her phone call. She doesn't.
So figure out which app to use, and then say, oh, use this, and here's how you use it.
So now she's got to learn a new thing to do.
Holy shit.
Well, that's
she must be old.
Well, yeah.
Like me. Old.
Yeah, like you. But she didn't work in a technical. Well, she did actually work in a kind of a technical field. But anyways.
Oh, what does she do?
I'm not going to start getting into the.
Is she retired now?
Family. She is retired now.
And your dad isn't.
No, he isn't. He's still got a few years of work to do. And then he's starting to think about selling the cars.
Selling the cars?
Yeah. No, Brian is not still at the beach. You're back at the main house now, right?
That's correct.
Okay. Man, this cow plant is taking its time to grow. Well, we'll keep monitoring the situation here. But we only got like another 15 minutes left of the show here. Anyways, I guess so. Anyways, how was your holiday today, Brian? You took a holiday from retiring, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. We kind of did nothing to do other than this show.
Yeah.
Watched a little Nash Bridges on TV.
Mm-hmm. No, I took my 3-day weekend, and I basically every day, Saturday, Sunday, and today, after breakfast, I went into the basement, dumped a little wall powder in my little bucket, added a little bit of water, mixed up a little batch of mud, and did a little spackling on the wall underneath the switch. Yeah, so I got 3 days worth of a spackle on there. Plus, I spackled the patches that are in the column in the kitchen. Plus, I spackled around the broken edges. The light switch. The light switches in the upstairs hallway and in this room for the ceiling fan. Because those are plaster walls, when I cut those holes, they broke away enough that the faceplate doesn't cover all the plaster that broke away. So I put a little mesh tape around the edges there to touch that up too. So I'm working on. And I got to say, the downstairs wall is starting to look like a wall again, because I kind of did the whole went wide with all the seams so I could build up enough to cover up the mesh so it doesn't poke through, and so that I got a nice wide graduated point that leads up to that seam. But all of my patches are at the point that the entire patches are covered with a thin layer. So at this point, it's like I get my headlight on, I point a bright light at the wall, I look for any imperfections or any little spots that are uneven or a seam that's uneven, and I go back for the two knives. I do a little dab, a little swipe, a little dab, a little swipe, and by doing this you can kind of just fine tune bit by bit over the days. And I really think that the downstairs is starting to look like a wall again, even though I've basically built a wall on top of the patches. We'll see what it looks like when we get the touch-up paint on it, though. Dune noticing that even as a ghost, dude has a bad back. Yeah, elders have, bad backs or pains or whatever periodically, and there's really very little difference between a sim that's a ghost and a sim that's a person. Because one of the qualities that Sims has is when a Sim's an elder, they may start to fear death, and an elder ghost will still fear death even though they can't die. So
or even though they are dead.
yeah, they can't die again. So it's weird, but that's in the programming because they basically programmed, person is all these things, but they are transparent and they can't die. So they didn't program out the option that a sim can fear death even though they're a ghost. Zoe Ball's writing in, never played this game. I know why now. Well, I'm not even playing it right now. We're just watching this plant here. We're supposed to let this just kind of grow in the background while we play other things. So if I come over here, we can take a look at what Santa's doing. Now, Santa is low on energy, but not low enough that he's going to go do some online chatting on the computer. Let's see. Chester is asleep now. Madeline's asleep. Laurel is browsing the web. And I basically have just left them to all tend themselves. Timmy is asleep. Craig is going to go chat in the kids' chat room. And Ulysses is going over to talk to Timmy, even though Timmy's asleep. Join cooking? Why are you going to... Timmy's trying to sleep, and you're asking him, hey, you want to get together and cook something?
Hey, wake up, buddy.
And now Santa, whose name is Clement, wants to get on in this conversation. Timmy's just sleeping right through it. All right, tell you what. Let's get one of them working on the craft table here. Man, poor Timmy here. Everyone's hanging out in his bedroom. Oh, Craig just aged up, and we didn't even throw him a birthday party. He's going to be sad about that. Like I said, I'm not going to save this game because I left it on fast forward way too long and skipped through a bunch of life that I didn't monitor what they were doing. But, okay. Who are we on here right now? Is this Craig or Ulysses? They both look the same. No, Craig aged up, so that's Ulysses. Ulysses is hungry and needs to use the can and is... Oh, they broke the downstairs toilet. All right. You need to... Here, go use that toilet and then go get yourself a bite to eat and then get to bed. Basically, it's, trying to keep them all happy, but you also follow their aspirations, get them in careers, and build up their skills so they do careers and evolve in their careers. A lot of times, right now, I've built up some careers that money's flowing in. I don't even have to think about it. But in the early stages of the game, it's a balancing act of buying things that they need or want and earning income. There's a lot of different ways you can play this game, a lot of different aspects you can focus on. Some people really focus on building the houses. They like designing buildings. The online community will save buildings and share them so that, so there are people that's all they do. They build houses. They design houses. They design different buildings. You can design common places in the neighborhood. You can design neighborhoods. You can really dive into any aspect you want to of it. I just basically put a family together and build their aspirations and their careers. And at this point, I'm trying to figure out how to get a good garden going over here in a greenhouse. I have Madeline do a little space exploration. So, that's kind of the stuff that I've been playing around with, which is kind of boring for streaming, but it kills some spare time. But we're going to, this cow plant is not going to bloom fully. But I'm guessing by next Monday, I will probably have a fully bloomed cow plant somewhere in this game. So I'm going to exit this without saving and call it a day on that. And we'll see next week if we have a full cow plant to show Dune how that works. Dune asking if that's a sock on the floor. Oh,
Oh no!
bad, Dune, bad. Well, you could have pets, but I didn't buy the pets add-on pack for Sims 4. Really, I'm at a point where I'm starting to get bored with this family. Like I kind of mentioned, I'm still a little invested in it, but although I had another family I played for a long time, and then I kind of abandoned them for this family, but I still have that saved in a separate file, so I can go back to that. What happens if you just let it run and go to bed? Well, Sims should take care of themselves, but you don't know what they're going to do. It could get unpredictable. I might wake up tomorrow and I might find someone dead. I might find someone's grades are slipping because, if the kids don't fend for themselves and feed themselves, a social worker could show up and take one of the kids away. In reality, if I let it run overnight, they'll probably autopilot good enough. But the thing is that, like, for Laurel to get promoted in her job, she needs to keep cooking every day. And I don't know if she's naturally just going to cook enough dishes to build up that skill and sign off on that task. So leaving them on autopilot is kind of like leaving people at a standstill. Whereas I'm trying to better these people. I'm trying to build up skill sets by telling them to do things for certain periods of time. Timmy is a genius, and he's kind of getting into computer tech guru stuff. So I want to try to encourage him to spend time on the computer, practicing coding and programming and things like that. So it's there's no good reason, and there's nothing to gain from leaving a Sims to go overnight. That was a good strategy for Sim City. Because Sim City was really based on generating tax income to use to better the city, because that's how taxes are supposed to work. That it betters your environment. So I would use that money to build more residential areas, to start building more enclosures, and make the city flourish and build up more. But sometimes it was really slow. You'd have to wait for a year to pass for another, annual income to come in. And if you weren't managing your city very good, you might actually get a loss and start going into the red, and then you can't build anything. And then much like the economy, it's sometimes really hard to dig yourself out of that because it's just snowballing the wrong way. But if you got your Sim City in a mode where things are going well and income's coming in every year, because Sim City had these expensive enclosures you can build. That was like a habitat built in this like enclosure. But I was like, dude, it's going to take forever to earn the money it takes to build one of those. So I used to just let that run overnight, and I'd wake up the next morning and, oh my God, I got lots of money to play with. And that's how I actually started building the habitats in my Sim City, by letting it roll overnight, so that it was just taking care of itself. Money was rolling in the annual budget. So yeah, that is a classic SimCity strategy, not a classic The Sims strategy though. And there's really nothing to gain from that. So that's what that is. I don't know. Thoughts, Brian? Do you ever play SimCity?
No.
Now, I remember I showed you they made a Sim oil refinery game, but you
right.
You also never played that.
I played it a little bit. There's really not that much to it. It's really just a simple simulation.
Well, I think it was meant for a training within the oil industry.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But I was just amused that such a thing existed, and had to tell you. So, anyways, we're down to like the last 10 minutes here, and we have not heard from Nick. You never got a text back from him?
Nope.
That's too bad. Well,
yeah.
maybe, maybe next week. Now, Doom says that would be right up my alley. Because as we all know, as we often joke, Dune does work on an oil rig right out there in the middle of Kansas, because that is what Kansas is known for. Sparky Toaster wants to know if they make any Sims characters that count Cheerios. I don't think that's a thing you can do. You can give your child a bowl of cereal, and then that's great fun. You have like a starving kid that's hangry. I want food, and he's all fussy and angry. And so, and for some reason in The Sims 4, there's something up with those high chairs. More often than not, if I tell a parent, dude, put the damn kid in the high chair, give him food, they don't do it because, I don't know where the high chair is, or, I can't find a path to the high chair. It's in the middle of the fucking room. There's no walls. There's no doors. It's right there. But sometimes the Sims get confused about finding a path to things that you tell them to use. And so I remember one time the kid was fussy and angry and hangry, and I finally got the parent to put the kid in the high chair. The parent goes to the fridge, grabs a bowl of cereal, gives the bowl of cereal to the kid. The kid takes a bite of the bowl of cereal. The hunger meter goes up a little bit. Kid grabs a bowl of cereal, throws it on the floor. Kid is still hungry. Parent walks over, picks up the kid, puts him down on the floor. And I'm like, no, you still need to feed him. He's still hungry. We need to get his hunger meter up or the social worker's going to come and take him away.
Oh, well, that could be a fun thing to do, is have the social worker take him away.
Dune writes in, so you could use caps in The Sims? Well, you use mouse commands in The Sims. It's not a text command game. But sometimes I use caps when I talk to my screen while playing The Sims. There are times where I do more often than not, it's in my head. But every now and then, you get to a point where you're trying to get a sim to do one damn thing that needs to get done. And you click on it, and it cancels out because it did something else. You click on it, cancels out because I can't figure out. You click on it, cancels out because the thing's in use. And it's like, just feed the damn kid!
Exactly.
Oh, man. I didn't have kids, so this is not a frustration I really experience in real life. But The Sims has given me the experience of asking something to do one damn thing 10 fucking times, and they just keep not doing it. And so it is from The Sims that I finally have understood that frustration of just trying to get a living being to do one damn simple task. I'm glad I didn't have kids. Anyways.
But is this a good time for a... Oops. My headphones are screwed up here. Is it good for a cat story?
I think it's good for a cat story. So
okay.
Tell us your cat story.
At the beach house, there is this little black cat that hangs out in the neighborhood, outside cat. She likes to go after the little rodents, golfers and mice and stuff like that, I guess.
Right.
So it's appreciated. She does wear a tag, so we know where she lives. Now, a couple months ago, we watched this happen. The cat was wandering around the neighborhood, checking out what was going on in the neighbor's yard. And the mailman shows up, right?
All right.
And the cat sees her, and the cat goes to greet the mailman.
Okay.
And he delivers his mail to the house next door, and then pets the cat, and the cat runs to the mail truck and hops in and gets into the little basket there.
Oh.
So we go, whoa, what is going on here? So we went and talked to him, and he said, yeah, that's what this cat does. He when he finds me, he gets in the truck, and I take him home. Take her home.
So the mailman knows where the cat lives.
Well, I mean, the cat has a tag. It's just the next block's over.
But it works out that he's.
And this is a regular thing. The cat comes, she takes her home. Anyway, one day he told us the cat could not find him. Maybe she missed him or something like that. The post office is only about 3 blocks away. So the cat goes to the post office and looks for him. Is that unbelievable?
So instead of the cat just walking back home, the cat went and found the mail.
Of course, the
truck
post office is much
dispatcher.
further because, if as the crow flies, the house is only like 2 houses away or 3.
That's crazy.
That's what a
is.
cat thinks, right? Hey, I want to see my buddy.
Some cats have this level of logic that it's like, how did you think of that and not think of the
Exactly.
obvious?
She
Like
wanted to see her buddy.
now,
Anyway, so I was, I forget, doing something with the car.
mhm,
And so the cat came up to me. I guess I'm one of her friends.
okay,
And, I pet her on the head and then walked up, because I'm allergic to cats. So I have to be careful. Anyway, so I walked up to the house with something that I was carrying, opened the door, and the cat invited herself in. So, so she walked around a little bit, looked at the kitchen, saw that there was nothing for. Oh, I know what it was. So in California, now instead of putting the food stuff in the trash, you put it in the green barrel.
okay,
Apparently, there was a flyer that told you how to keep your green barrel from stinking like hell.
okay,
Okay. Some magic concoction you can spray in your barrel.
okay.
My solution is I got a little thing of kitty litter. You sprinkle, especially if the green barrel is empty, you sprinkle a little bit of on it, and then you can dump your food scraps in there.
So she thought, wow, it's a litter box, it's a snack bin. You're both right.
Well, but she didn't see the barrel.
Ah,
I was just
she
bringing
just
it up.
smelled the kitty litter.
No, she saw me with it. She knew what it was.
Oh, she
So
thought
she
you.
followed me in the house. She looked around. Okay, no litter box, no food for me, whatever. So I picked the cat up and I patted her, and she was fine. And I took her out to the front door and let her go. But one thing I noticed, and petting her and stuff, she seemed to be happy. I think her purr box was broken.
Well, some cats purr more than others.
I was surprised. I mean, this
I'm
was L0.
here's the thing though. She let you pick it up and didn't swipe at you, so that's a
Exactly. Very
damn
friendly
friendly
cat.
cat. Very friendly
That's
cat,
right.
but not a
Exactly.
purry cat. But anyways, on that note, Mars had a similar story because Mars, it doesn't always. Some things are more obvious to people with sight than people without sight. And
Yeah.
one of those things is it's rather obvious to most people when a cat has followed you in the front door. You saw the cat follow you in, you knew it was there.
Yeah.
Mars,
Actually, in my case, the cat walked in ahead of me.
right. Well, even if Mars had a cat that didn't have a cat. There was a neighborhood cat that sometimes roamed around Mars's front door, and one day followed Mars into his apartment, and stealthy like a cat did not make itself obvious with sounds of it walking in. So Mars is hanging out in his house, and all of a sudden, a cat meows. The cat was in the kitchen trying to get at the chocolate-covered pineapple candy that we brought home from Hawaii for him.
Cool.
And so
Cool.
he had to kick the cat out. But anyways, we have reached the end of the show once again, and we didn't open the show, so this is the opening and closing of
Insert title here.
the show that changes name so frequently we put a placeholder in. Sparky probably learned nothing, and Dune thinks that's awesome.
No, wait, whoa. Sparky didn't count his Cheerios?
I don't know. Maybe he learned how many Cheerios he has. But Brian, what have you learned this week?
I learned that if we're going to do The Sims, I should bring a box of Cheerios to be like Sparky.
Okay. I've learned that you can only get so much mileage on a Golden Sims scenario that you happen to save.
Yes.
Sparky
Yes.
has learned that Brian has an iPhone 13. And
Yes.
I've learned 5-Hit Dune thinks I should spend more money on phones. And on that note, thank you everyone for listening. You all have a great week. I won't be around for the Dune and Johnny show next Sunday, but I will be home for Monday because I will have work next Monday. I didn't have work today.
All right.
But
All
so
right.
we'll be here, same time, same place next week.
What's going on Sunday?
Well, Saturday and Sunday, we're having a little birthday party for some family members down the shore. So there you go. And Dune specifying service, not phone. Well, a lot of times the service comes with a phone, or they want you to buy their phone, or they'll let you bring your phone, but usually they want you to trade your phone in, and they give you a discount for that. I don't know.
Like my sister-in-law and her son, bought into the same service,
Mm-hmm.
and they were Sprint customers
Okay.
before, and they were bought, of course, by T-Mobile.
Okay.
And Sprint, T-Mobile says, okay, your old phone is running out of, we're not going to be servicing that anymore. You must buy a new phone to stay with us.
Right.
So he bought 2 new phones. Yeah, I'm sure he wanted to do that, but there it is. In fact, I think he bought iPhone 13s. I think.
I see. Well,
So they're 5G compatible.
Well, when I was in California, now mind you, California is expensive, and I was making a lot less money in California than I'm making here now. So
your expenses are less here, right?
Right. But
yeah.
When I was in California, I never bought my own phone plan, because Tharco.
You were using the company phone for personal business, right?
Well, it was under a blanket plan anyway. So, it was like, to me, that was, you give me a phone so that I could work night hours when the shipping department can't figure out how to clear a fucking paper jab. It's not like I did a whole lot of personal talking on that phone, but yeah, I use that phone for personal and work, and no one at work had a problem with that.
Right.
So I bought Kristen a phone because I wasn't going to be like, hey, work, can you give me a second phone for my wife too? That was, so I actually had a phone plan for one phone for Kristen. And when I signed up, I just, mind you, I signed up when I was just starting out there. So I was like buying the cheapest of anything I could. My apartment was furnished with the finest furniture that Walmart sells. Those really cheap lamps that look ugly. A little.
So did you get just a flip phone?
It was a flip phone, and she never.
And they still sell them.
And she never complained about it, and she liked it. But then at some point, the service started getting spotty, and it got to the point where.
Who was she with?
Well, I forget what we were with. We were with one of the major players, but the thing is that at some point when we started complaining about the phone service or the service being spotty or the signal, they said, "Oh, well, you're on the old network because of that old flip phone. We don't even sell those phones anymore. You really should upgrade to one of our smartphone plans." But by then we were getting ready to move. Well, then what happened is that she mentioned this to her parents, and so her parents were like, "We'll just give you one of our phones on our family plan." So they shipped her a phone, and that problem kind of just took care of itself. I did feel bad about that. So when we moved back,
and did they pay? Did you guys pay the folks?
They didn't ask for anything. They just said, "We'll give it to you." And I think I said to her, like, "Oh, you should."
Not only the phone, but the service.
Yeah, they added her to their plan, and they just paid it every month. They didn't ask us for any money on that. But I was like, okay, but
that's the best deal yet.
But when we move back east, we're getting our own plan, and you're giving that. I didn't want to leech off of them too much, just long enough to get settled after the move.
Right.
But yeah, good peeps. And Mod Pro likes the shirt. Thank you. It's my Game Boy shirt. But anyways, thank you. So we're gonna go find someone to raid. Is what we're gonna do.
Absolutely.
So let's see who is streaming right now. Let's see. We got Pineapple Hoops. We got Ray Rachel. We got anyone we haven't raided recently. I mean, I think we're just seeing a lot of the same things.
Pork Roll Bob. I don't remember that guy.
Pork Roll Bob? I don't. Where you find channels I don't. I don't know who that is.
Oops! Why did that disappear off my list?
Oh, I was gonna say Sabrina Solo is streaming, but she's not streaming music. It looks like I don't know what she's doing. But
that's not on my list.
Oh,
so
she's doing art.
We could go that.
Well, she's doing art. She's not doing music. So she does.
What? I'm sorry, doing what?
Her category is labeled art, but I don't know what she's doing.
Well, we could check that out.
I mean, she normally streams music shows,
Well, so let's but check it out anyway. What the hell, right?
All right. Well, she does this really when she does the music shows. She has these like little kick drums that are behind her with the with her heels on the foot pedals, so that she can kind of like march in place to hit the bass drums, but they're MIDI controlled bass drums. So one of them is wired to a bass drum sound, the other one to a snare. So that way she can play and drum at the same time. And it's like, wow, you got to have some pretty damn strong calves.
She playing guitar or keyboard or what?
She's playing guitar, she's singing, and she's marching in time to control the drums. So it's like
well, she's not on my list, so let's go see her, and then
yeah,
I'll have her on the list, and I can check her out.
All right, yeah, we will.
This is like a Twitch find for me.
And now Dune says someone is on. Well, we'll raid him next time. We're gonna go raid Sabrina Solo right now because Brian wants to check out that channel and follow it. So, anyways, thank you everyone, and good night.
Good night, everybody.
So I don't think someone ever liked me, but anyways, I think I rated before I said that. All right, Pork Roll Bob is a friend of MBC. Who's MBC? Anyways, I can't keep track of all these. All right. Well, that was the show.
Right on.
All right. Catch you later.
Yep, you bet.